Now, if you've been watching any art videos whatsoever on YouTube recently, you'll know that reverse coloring books are everywhere right now. But I wanted to know, can I make my own page and is it worth it? Hi friends, hope you're doing well. Today I want to answer the question, can I DIY my own reverse coloring page? Will it be stressful? Am I better off just buying the book? I don't know. What I do know is that I already have the materials on hand that I would need, so I figured why not take a shot at this. I'm not going to use any expensive supplies today because I don't think that this project needs it. First, I'm going to be using one of my favorite paint sets, and it's actually this Prang 16 color set. Now you might recognize these from when you were in grade school, but I actually really do like this set. It's affordable. You can find it at your local art store for probably $7 or $10. When I bought these as an adult, initially I thought that I wouldn't be so impressed with them, but I was wrong. For the price, this is actually a really good set. And they also come with a brush, which is somewhere over there. I think they're a lot of fun to use. For paper, I'm gonna go with this Canson XL watercolor paper in size 9x12, and it's gonna work really well for this project. For pens, I'll be using fine liners, but really any pen will do. For brushes, I'm gonna be using a size 12 and a size 16 by Utrecht, but again, any brush you have on hand is gonna do the job just fine. And of course I'll be using water. I'm gonna use my Paint Puck brush cup. Obviously not necessary, I just like it because it has these ridges on the side where I can hang my brush facing down. That way water doesn't get up into the ferrule. So with that out of the way, I'm just gonna get right into it and start on my page today. Alright, so for this first page, I'm using a reference picture that I took of my coffee cup and a cookie because I love snacks. Early on here, you'll see that I made a bit of a mistake. I got a pretty large paint bloom when my brush touched an area that was still wet. I was able to fix it by just dabbing it with a paper towel, but I wanted to leave that part in so you can see that mistakes do happen. My instinct was to try to be very exact with this picture, which is pretty much opposite to the point of this whole exercise. So about halfway through, I relaxed a bit just to allow myself to enjoy the process. One thing that's weird about making a DIY reverse coloring page is that normally I would do line work first and then fill it in with color, but obviously this process works backwards, so that was something to try to get used to. I was also trying to balance capturing the shapes of the objects without being too precise so that this would have a loose feel to it. This page didn't take too long to paint, which was nice. Maybe only about 20 minutes or so, which is good for me because I'm impatient. After a little bit of drying time, it was ready for the lines to be drawn. I'm using a pretty standard Pigma Micron for this. Adding the lines was definitely the most relaxing part of making this coloring page since the hard part is done now. I was undecided on whether I should outline the leaf design on the mug. I outlined it since it's supposed to be a coloring page, but I think I liked it better without the outline. Now for the second page today, I really went into this one with no plan in mind at all. Pretty much the opposite of the plan for my first page. Knowing that I had no idea what this would be was a little stressful, not gonna lie. The whole time I was thinking to myself, well, I have to put lines on this at the end. It has to be a coloring page. The only rule I somewhat made for myself here is that I wanted to work with a mostly cool color palette. So blues, greens, purples, and maybe just slight accents of other colors here and there. Then I really started to get into some of the paint blooms. I allowed myself to worry less about making this into something and just enjoyed watching the paint spread and mix on the page. This part was definitely satisfying to me, and I'd say I really started having fun at this point too. Just like the first page, after giving this some time to dry, it was time to do some line work. I'm using the same Micron pen as the first time. I was momentarily stressed about how to turn this into a picture of something until I said to myself, you know what? Why does this have to be something? It doesn't. So I decided to actually just trace the natural shapes made by the paint, and let me tell you, best decision ever. This instantly took all the stress off of me, and I pretty much just zoned out while I drew all of these organic looking shapes. This was the page that I was the most worried going into because I didn't have a plan, but it actually turned out to be the most relaxing one out of the two. The end result on this one looks crazy, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and I did enjoy working on this one a lot. Alright guys, so here we have it. I guess I answered my own question. I can make a reverse coloring page. This one with the reference photo, I pretty much figured it would come out okay because I had something to work off of. The abstract one, I would say started out stressful, but when I decided that it wasn't going to be anything and I just would follow the natural lines of where the paint flowed, it took a lot of the stress off and I enjoyed the process a lot more. So I think the best decision was to just let this one be an abstract something. But let me know what you think. Do you think you would try this? I don't know if I would do this again. Maybe. I guess we'll find out. Maybe one day I'll make another video about it. I don't know. I'll say this. I had fun trying it out. Alright. Well, thanks so much guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.